Um, Let me start with the protocols first. The chief executives present and representatives of the various supervised financial institutions. Mumba, you're very welcome. Ahmed, thank you for coming. Florence, I saw you sitting behind. Thank you very much for coming. Our various strategic partners, I think that Goretti went through that list very ably, together with the sponsors. Our online audience listening to us, including the wonderful gentlemen who spoke from Nigeria and Ghana. I remember them very well when I worked for United Bank for Africa. Staff, colleagues at the Institute, Goretti, yourself, the various members of the Institute present, the press who are partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for honoring our invitation. I am standing here on behalf of the chair of the board. The chairman of our board is Dr. Louis Kasekende, the immediate past deputy governor, Bank of Uganda, who is in Tanzania and couldn't be here this morning. I also speak on behalf of the other board members. Ahmed is here, but some of the other colleagues are engaged. As you know, it's end of year and a lot of engagements. I want to thank Polycarp. It's nice to see you after a long time. Polycarp spoke earlier on about life membership. Polycarp, many years back, even when I was a student, he was in Cooperative Bank, and they steered this country and the industry. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you very much. Goretti, I want to thank you for the whole month. A lot of work has been done on the question of literacy through the theme of Your Money Can. And I'll speak briefly about it and then go into the membership today. Financial literacy is key, very, very important, because it empowers people. In my earlier years in banking, as a retail officer, as a manager, as a customer service officer, we saw a lot caused by gaps in knowledge. And I remember many years when we started the investment clubs, and we started in Kampala here. I was in DFCU then, and went down to Owino. I think it's called St. Balikudembe Market now. And something as simple as the ladies who sell matoke, granuts, if you observe them for about 3 hours, anybody who passes with some pancakes, they say, give me some pancakes here. It's 50 shillings, 100, they eat that. Granuts. And so we said, look, do you know how much you spend by just speaking a little bit in the course of the day, in the course of 8 hours in a day? If you just formed an investment club and keep throwing in what you would have spent the whole day, you will be surprised at the end of the month. And when we introduced investment clubs, they formed their club and kept on dropping in whatever little they would get as they trade, which perhaps they would spend otherwise. And in 12 months, they had saved enough money to buy a truck and bring matoke for themselves from Western Uganda. So just the difference and the power of empowering people. I worked for Barclays then, now proudly ABSA, and we opened branches across this country. I think Barclays gave me the opportunity to travel to nearly every part of this country. I think it's only the district of Kisoro that I've not had opportunity, and I hope that Oli, I will visit that place one of these days. And when we opened branches, you know, the way we set up branches, it has glass, tiles, and in some of these remote areas, the Mola Tar district, do you know where that is, Mumba? Yeah, Pader. They are remote parts of the country. And when we went for the launch ceremony, yeah, the population feared to come and said, the branch is open, come inside. And said, they removed shoes and said, perhaps we will not enter here. And this was a service center for the community. So it had to take a lot of work. And therefore, I thank you very much for the campaign you've been running and the wonderful things money can do. But this morning is about the new membership program. And I liked the questions answered and what you took us through. When the persons who spoke first in terms of their experience, and they said everything that we wanted to say. The intention about this membership program, and we have 16,000 people are working in the regulated financial institutions alone. Remember, there are lower tiers now and many other service providers. And with the National Payment Systems Act now law, there are many more players coming into the payment space. So the need for empowering people with knowledge, and even those who've gone through with refreshing and getting additional insights, because banking and the financial sector is changing rapidly, never like before. And therefore, constantly updating oneself is important. And therefore, advancing yourselves professionally is critical to learn, but also to appreciate challenges that are happening. We have very many people in the banking sector who suddenly have to supervise teams and may not have the experience of managing teams, especially managing young people. Again, I used to manage a sales force of nearly 1,000. And young guys would come in their jeans and you're telling them, go and see the HR of Total and sell them personal loans. And the guys in jeans, their hairstyles, which are and so on and so forth. Today, there are ethical issues. Last year we had challenges of compromise of customer information, where they would say, so-and-so has this balance, so many billions in their bank account. Ethics and integrity. And yet, perhaps you may think that some of our biggest trade is money, but it is that confidentiality, the ability to protect data. And now there's a law in place that has heavy penalties when we have breaches, whether as custodians, processors, or otherwise. So membership and the benefits that come with them will be very, very, very critical. There is the issue of fraud today. And as we go more digital, it's becoming more sophisticated, much more sophisticated. And as we develop more digital products, you need to just not know the features, the risks, and the fraud trends. There are people who've taken it as a duty 24/7 to find how to defraud financial institutions. And financial institutions keep people's money, therefore defraud everybody else. So it's important to keep abreast with these trends and empower yourselves, address challenges that come with them, and of course, empower yourself. Like Goretti said, staff of financial institutions, you represent the institution from wherever. They see you as the institution. And therefore, if you are not equipped, if you are not knowledgeable, if you are not refreshing, if you don't know the subject matters, the representation is not as good. But also it doesn't help both yourself and the community in which you went to serve. Of course, there is a lot of work for the institute itself, that it adds value and that value is felt and the offering is well appreciated. And I think in addition to what has been shared, as a board, we'll continue to add value and content in their various programs. But the institution is being repositioned. Goretti is a fairly new CEO for the institute. We concluded the recruitment early this year. And we are going to bring on board many more resource persons and affiliates. And we will tap onto the life members who bring in the wealth of experience, as well as international bodies to share experiences. As an industry, We want to recognize the training that you get from the Institute so that for promotions and subsequent upgrades, the certificates and papers and categories of membership becomes a mandatory requirement that we recognize as we promote, because then that adds value and gives weight. That's one of the ways in which then the membership categories carry value. And like the gentleman from West Africa said, if we embed this in our structures and make them formal, it becomes more important. So we are looking forward, because when you had Nigeria, Nigeria is a unique country when he said 140,000 members. Okay, we are about 16,000 or thereabout financial staff in the regulated institutions. But we haven't hardly touched that 16,000. And as graduates come, join the banking sector, they start working, and upskilling then can become a challenge. And as a result, sometimes we have suffered reputational challenges across the industry. And whenever the financial sector suffers reputational challenges, it is bad for the country. So we are looking forward. This particular launch is meant to speak to the membership, especially the individual category across the industry, that please become a member and be proud of it, and espouse the values and professionalism required of a banker. You know, these days, because the airwaves and social media is available 24/7 to everybody, everybody becomes an expert. Sometimes we faced crisis in the industry and there are comments thrown all over the place, and they are experts. That is the reality of today. But I think for those for whom this is intended, it is important that you are sufficiently grounded so that you can challenge falsehoods and put across what is good, what makes the sector stable, because the entire economy depends on the stability and strength of a financial system. And until you are yourself grounded, you can be swayed and mislead the economy. So Goretti, I want to thank you and your team for this work. This is just the beginning. A launch is the beginning. A launch is like an announcement. It means that the engagement must happen at the institutions themselves, and that they see value in being a member, and they see recognition in being a member, and that they are constantly refreshing themselves. Also for management, again, very good comments that I had from the various associations. ACCA, they have a methodology in which, you know, the membership categories are recognized and so on. We never stop learning, and therefore can be good to keep comparing and benchmarking across with the other professionals, the lawyers, the architects, you know, the medical profession and all the others. So we look forward to this particular day's event to expand that membership, especially in the individual category, but more importantly, to enrich and empower our members so that they can do best what the industry should be doing. So once again, I thank you very much for coming, and I thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.